This year, we've seen institutions like yours. I mean, I don't know whether you guys have actually bought any Bitcoin, but I certainly know that you're interested in it. We've certainly
I have some Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin's greatest risk is its success. As it becomes a bigger deal and more of a threat, let's say people want to sell their bonds and they want to buy Bitcoin, and they want to do that in a bigger way, like buying gold or something in a bigger way, and then there's more transaction. They lose control over that. And that's an existential risk.
I gave a talk yesterday. There was a poll asked of all the participants as to when they thought the U.S. would launch a CBDC. Did they think it was going to be A, in 2022, B, 2023 to 25, C, never? Only 5% of the people said never, but I'm going to put my money on never.
CBDCs are not here to replace the traditional and conventional monetary system.
There are many countries going through hyperinflation where their currency is devaluing very, very quickly. And basically their citizens are becoming poor. And many of those citizens in those countries are flocking into Bitcoin or crypto so even though they may still love their country, but they may no longer love the currency.
We used to have a Fed that reassured people that it would prevent inflation. Now we have a Fed that reassures people that it won't worry about inflation.
I think the bottom line message I have is that we have work to do in modernizing our custody rules all across the board. And I think as with many other areas, crypto may force us to do that modernization faster than we otherwise would do.
It's a little bit of a weird occurrence. I think it's a healthy occurrence in some ways, because I think that, there is a lot of stupid dialogue going on about ESG, and stupid not in the sense that ESG is stupid, but not the dialogue was.
I'd be thrilled to be the first state to let you pay your taxes in a variety of cryptos, and we'll look into how we can get that done.
The laser eyes, I've certainly been following that community for a while on Twitter. Someone had really called me out to change my profile picture and use the laser eyes. So in my understanding, it was really a vote of confidence to really get into the conversation, as I'm such a big believer in crypto.
I see the volatility in the market all based upon FUD, and the FUD is, first it was the Chinese are mining too much Bitcoin, and then the FUD was sell Bitcoin. And the second FUD was the Chinese are going to stop mining Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin. And then the FUD was, well, you can't buy Bitcoin in China, sell Bitcoin. And then the FUD was, oh, the Chinese reiterated you can't buy Bitcoin in China, sell Bitcoin. And then the FUD was, oh, IRS says you got to pay your taxes, sell Bitcoin. I saw something on Twitter today that suggested that Bitcoin is 2 or 3x as sustainable as other energy users. That's the kind of story we need to get out, but we need to legitimize it by having really good data.
I think there's some very interesting research going on now, and indeed investments, and I'm part of it, to try and find a way to tag a Bitcoin, a coin itself, that to prove that it has a wrapper around it, that it came from a sustainable miner. And this sounds out there, but it's being worked on right now, because that's what institutions want. And when that dam gets released, the amount of capital that will come into Bitcoin, it'll be the reason it goes to 100,000, 200,000, and all the dreaming that's been going on around price appreciation. That's not going to happen until institutions start to buy it.
Chia's consensus algorithm works mostly off of space, just ordinary space like you have on your hard drive. And the rewards that you get from farming Chia are in exact proportion to the amount of space that you put into it. And there's very little electricity that goes into this farming process, and no specialized hardware necessary. Your barber's boyfriend's computer can do it just fine.
I'm a big believer in it. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think absolutely there's going to be volatility. But at the same time, knowing, when there's a lot of change and there's disruption in markets, there's a lot of people that are going to fight those systems.
In reality, every asset class is going to get tokenized. And that includes whether it's physical property or paintings or buildings, what have you. The notion of tokenization extends well beyond currency as a medium of exchange.
The early movers and investors and traders have said, wait a minute, let me take a step back. I have to anticipate an extraordinary amount of supply. No different than social media accounts, Joe. Everybody's going to have an NFT. There's going to be Pokemon NFT. There's going to be UFC NFT. There's going to be LeBron James exclusive at Novak Djokovic, the US Open, Budweiser, like Nike.
You know, I don't want to be ageist, but a lot of my older friends are like, NFTs, how do I hang it on my wall? Is like the first question and it's like, well, it's, maybe not right to think of it as like a digital version of an analog thing that you hang on your wall.
The more we create savings in it, the more you might say, I'd rather have Bitcoin than the bond. Personally, I'd rather have Bitcoin than a bond.